Hi, I'm Ken Moore from the Society of Epistenauts. 3.14 is here, and with it comes Crusader and Orison. There's still some work to be done, including on the Aran Halo, but it's sort of a closing by return for Stanton's system, and it's really nice to see things finally coming together. Now, that said, as beautiful as it is, there is one aspect of Orison that doesn't work for me personally, and that's the explanation for how it functions. I've tried to suspend my disbelief, but this video is more about my own explicitly non-canon explanation for what's going on. So first, the in-game explanation.
Welcome to the Crusader Industries shipyards, the Empire's only orbital in-atmosphere vehicle production line.
Sorry, what? Orbital in atmosphere? You're in orbit right now? If you know anything about orbital mechanics, you already know this is basically dog-brain nonsense. It cannot be orbital and in atmosphere. Google the Kármán line. I recommend Ray's video for more specificity on why this doesn't work. Theory crafting an alternative explanation actually offers an opportunity to integrate some other lore. Stanton was officially discovered by Toshi Aran in 2851, and shortly after that the Navy took over to secure, explore, and develop the system. What did they find in Stanton? 3 terrestrial worlds and a gas giant, all in the green band. What's more, the gas giant had a naturally breathable atmosphere. Stanton promised to be an important system even before its jump points were fully explored. But consider the broader social context of 2851. This is 60 years after the end of both the Messers and the Xi'an Cold War. Post-Messer reforms will have taken root in prior decades, and 20 years later we'll see the start of the Synthworld project. Now, what does Synthworld have to do with anything? Besides being funded in part by the sale of Stanton, I suggest that it establishes the kind of thinking that was happening in the Empire at the time. Synthworld represents a grand utopian project, and I don't think it was the only one. So the Navy encounters Stanton. As is typical, it has to build some infrastructure, and it identifies an opportunity in Stanton II's atmosphere. They think, hell, let's apply this gravlev technology that we've reverse engineered from the Xi'an during the Cold War. This design might have been sitting in a drawer for decades. They need the infrastructure anyways. It might as well be here. They can demonstrate how far they've come, both socially and technologically, and maybe it can even be a bit of a soft power play with the Xi'an. So they build Providence Platform. It's got redundant gravlev systems, plus supplementary thrusters placed in the high atmosphere where it's livable and easily accessible from orbit, both for the dry dock and in case it fails and they need to evacuate. Eventually, the Senate moves forward with their plan to sell off Stanton's system. Yada 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 yada. You know that part of the story already. Initially, the Navy intends to keep Stanton II until a last-minute offer from Crusader Industries was too good to refuse. Maybe this was unpopular within the Navy, maybe not. There's a constellation of potential issues, not the least of which is the fact that the gravlev technology Providence is built on is in a legal, semi-classified gray zone. But in the end, Crusader Industries gets Stanton II. Shipbuilding aside, it fits within Crusader's brand vision, turning industry and capitalism to the good of the people. It also offers access to raw materials on its moons and lets it develop a tourism industry. But above all, it's about access to the gravlev. We're told that Crusader Industries saves 40% on shipbuilding in Orison, but that's vague. I prefer to think that the 40% includes things like a reduced tax burden, tourism profits, and the vertical integration of its entire workforce's lives. But the story I've sketched out here contradicts what we hear from the lore. Now we know that the lore explanation is impossible, but it's sci-fi, right? What does it matter? Gravlev is just a different kind of handwavium anyways, isn't it? Well, that's not wrong. All of it requires a certain suspension of disbelief. But what bothers me is the fact that the game that made fidelity a meme needs to have an economy of handwavium, and there's already a ready explanation in the existence of gravlev. So I prefer to think that it is gravlev, but for various reasons, Crusader Industries has to keep quiet about it, so they lie by omission. Yes, buoyancy and low mass are part of it, and the thrusters help too, but ultimately the keystone is gravlev. Wouldn't people figure this out? Yeah, it's an open secret. Most people know that Orison can't float how they say it does, but only the Navy and Crusader really have the details, and they're both committed to the lie. Hell, there's a hook for some corporate espionage gameplay. This is also another way of understanding what it means for Crusader to be unique. Crusader's characteristics are special, but it's in their combination with the social and historical factors at the time of Stanton's discovery that make it truly unique. Thanks. Look forward to more videos from the Society of Epistenauts in the future, focused on a discussion and criticism of Star Citizen's lore from a social science perspective.